I tried making myself do monthly TBRs when I first started my channel, and I quickly realized that making monthly TBRs put me right into a reading slump. I am very much a mood reader, and I just like to move where the wind takes me and pick up whatever I'm interested in at the moment. That being said, I have seen people making TBRs for like the quarter or the season, and I do think that that is a really good idea. And in today's video, I want to make myself a spring TBR. I only have 10 books on this list. The goal will be to try to incorporate these books through my reading during the spring season. That keeps me accountable that I am reading the books on my TBR, especially these books that I think particularly fit somehow, some way with spring, but it also allows me to very much still mood read. So let's go ahead and get right into it. The first book that I have put on my spring TBR is The Salt Path by Rainer Winn. We are following a married couple where the husband gets diagnosed with a terminal disease, and they end up like hiking this peninsula in the UK, I believe. And I really wanted to incorporate this book into my spring TBR because I feel like that cover is really giving me like the spring atmosphere. I actually did start this book in January, and I got about 20% into it, and I just never finished it. And I didn't like hard DNF it, I was distracted by other things. My hold lapsed at the library, and I do want to get back into this one and read this one. So that is the first book that I'm going to be reading in the spring season. The next book on my list is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. This book is also a part of my 15 books that I want to read in the year of 2024. This is like another almost check-in with myself where I'm saying, okay, I'm going to incorporate this book in my spring reading. I'm not going to save this until, November and then try to binge read all of those 15 books that I want to read this year. I feel like Little Women is going to have the best spring vibes, and I feel like this is just going to be the most cozy, perfect season to read this book. The next one I've added to my list is The Awakening by Kate Chopin, and this is another one that is on my 15 books in 2024. I feel like the reason that I pulled this one in for my spring TBR is because of the title, The Awakening. That just goes with spring. Like, everything is coming back to life. All the birds are coming back, all the plants are coming back. Everything is awakening from that winter slumber. So I feel like this book fits perfectly, and I am really excited to get to it. The next book I have added to my list is The Vaster Wilds by Lauren Groff. Now, I actually have another book by Lauren Groff on this list, and she is an author that I've been wanting to try. I do have one of her books on my shelves, and I've just been super interested in this one since I seen it came out, and I was seeing some of the Goodreads reviews for it coming in. A lot of these books, the reason why they are making my spring TBR is because of the covers, the titles, the vibes. It just gives me like spring feelings, and I am getting that from this cover. The next book is Bloom by Delilah S. Dawson. Once again, Bloom, flowers on the cover. I know that this is like a queer horror book. I don't know much about it, but I do remember seeing Leandra from Leandra the TBR Zero reading this one, and I believe that she did enjoy it. So I do want to try to read this one. The unfortunate thing is I have already checked if my library carries the audiobook, and I don't believe my library has the audio, but hey, this is like a several month long TBR, so I can find myself a physical copy, and I have plenty of time to read it in the entire season of spring. The next book on my list is Shady Hollow by Juno Black, and this is actually another one that I did start reading. I started reading this one in October of last year, and this is a cozy mystery, and it's a really quirky storyline where we're following like woodland creatures where there is a murder that is committed, and the creatures are like investigating, but they all have very like human characteristics to them. Pretty much the same scenario with this one that I had with the first book I talked about, The Salt Path, where I stopped reading at the time because I was just reading too many other things and my hold lapsed, and I didn't want to like hard DNF it. I just wasn't able to finish it at that time. So I'm going to try to pick this one up again. I feel like this book fits the spring season and atmosphere, like following all these little woodland creatures set in the forest. It just feels very, very spring-like to me. The next book on my list is a bit on the nose. However, it's a book that's been on my TBR for a while, and I thought, well, what better time? That book is The First Day of Spring by Nancy Tucker. I know that this is a thriller. I've seen quite a few people reading this and enjoying it, and I am very, very interested in it. I have just been putting off reading this one for so long, but I'm finally going to try to get to it in this spring season. Ooh, okay. The next one on my list is one that I am so desperate to read this book. I have checked my library time and time again for the audiobook, and my library does not carry the audiobook. I don't even know if there is actually an audiobook for this, but I want to read this book so badly. I have such a feeling that I'm going to love this book, and it totally fits for a spring TBR. That book is Chrysalis by Anna Metcalf. I'm so interested in this one. Like, something about it keeps speaking to me and calling me and telling me like, read me for the spring vibe. So Chrysalis, there's like a cocoon on the cover. This girl is gonna come out of the cocoon and become a butterfly. I don't know, but that's totally spring, right? The next one on my list is Matrix by Lauren Groff, and this is the book by her that I do have currently on my shelves. Once again, the cover is giving me spring. It's speaking to me, and it's telling me you need to read me in spring, and so I'm gonna listen to that. And I'm gonna try to read this book, which also fits into another challenge I have going for 2024, which is to read my entire physical TBR down to 0 in 2024. And so this will help me because I am incorporating one of the books actually from my shelves into this challenge. The final book on my list here for my spring TBR is Speak of the Devil by Rose Wilding. We have these beautiful flowers, these like lilies or something on the cover. Totally fits this spring season. Again, this is another book that I started reading last year. I actually ended up getting a ARC copy audiobook from NetGalley, and I am not very versed in NetGalley. Like I first discovered it last year. I started dabbling in it, but there's just, the thing with NetGalley is there's so many books that I want to read that have already come out, that are already at my library, that I do not need the added pressure of reading and reviewing books that haven't even come out yet. If you don't know, that's pretty much what NetGalley is you can get like advanced copies of books, whether that be the ebook or the audiobook, and you can read them and review them before that book has actually come out and been published to the public. And so I was approved to get the audio, like ARC, whatever, of Speak of the Devil. I got like 3% into it, and I was just so overwhelmed with how many like library checkouts I had at the time that I just was like, I don't need this pressure in my life, and I pretty much have not been back on NetGalley since. Okay, very short and sweet. That is all 10 of the books that I have added to my spring TBR. I am so excited for spring and to finally be done with winter. Just putting this TBR together, thinking about spring, thinking about just getting out of winter finally and feeling the sun again has gotten me so excited. I'm so excited for all 10 of these books as well. How do you guys feel about TBRs? Do you try to set monthly TBRs for yourself? I can't do it. I've tried and it does not work for me. But if it works for you, that is awesome. Yeah, I hope that this, like a TBR that's kind of set for the season. I have about 3 months to read all these books. I hope that will give me more freedom where it doesn't feel like a school assignment, you know? But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.